I'd like to call this meeting to order today, December 9th, for the City of San Juan Commission at 6:04. If we can rise for the invocation. Commissioner Ramirez, can you lead us in the invocation?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be here today. Make our decisions be those that will be to your satisfaction, to your glory, that we think of what is best for our citizens, for our staff. In your name we pray. Amen.
You can face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All may be seated. I have one public comment from Ruben Navarro. May you come forward, please? A presentation of a plaque to our Commissioner of Precinct 2, Hector Tito Palacios. It is with great pleasure that we taking this opportunity to thank our Commissioner Tito Palacios for his service to this community and to Precinct 2 and all the people in the precinct. And I did get a request from some of our folks that have worked with you and for us in our community, and I'm going to ask them to come up forward first before we get to the presentation from the city. So I'd like to ask Ms. Bravo if she can come forward now. And also Nidia Torres. And Edith. Right there, because what will happen is we'll be able to hear it because it's being live webcast and live streaming, and they can hear you.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Janie Piñon. And first of all, I'd like to thank Mayor San Juanita Sanchez for inviting us today to this event. It's really an honor. It's really an honor for us to be here. We represent the North San Juan Community Center located on East Erling Road. And real briefly, I'd like to share with you what I consider to be very valuable information. And it's information that we always go out and give out to the community. And one thing is that Commissioner Tito Palacios started construction of the North San Juan. His vision of the center is what it is today. If you go out there to the East Erling Road, you will see a building with a beautiful park in the back, and that was his vision. And we are honored to constantly say that we work there. But the Resource Center is where residents of San Juan and the surrounding areas can benefit from it. We serve the community, we bring different agencies, and we are a resource for them. If we can't help them, we will make sure that we send them to a place that will be able to. And we follow through as well, just to see how everything went. The center benefits the parents during the year, throughout the whole year, and the children in the summertime. In partnership with the City of San Juan, we have youth activities all summer long that have been excellent. They have worked very well for all the community. We've been praised for those services for the children. I myself can say that I've always admired the Commissioner for his tactful ways and seeing that he is very family-oriented. That is very important to us as working for the community. But most of all, for putting a lot of effort on the foundation of one of his visions, which is where we work. Commissioner, on behalf of all your staff at North San Juan Community Resource Center, we thank you for allowing us to be a part of the changes we have made to the community. Thank you so much. Honestly, from our hearts, we are very, very grateful for everything he's done for our community. He gave us an opportunity to show him what we were able to do. The center started off right from the ground. He worked it all the way up. And along him, we were starting to see the same vision that he had. And we put a lot of effort into it, and we are very, honored to say that we've been there for 13 years, and it's going very strong. So I really thank you for that vision that you had.
And Commissioner, on behalf of the city, we'd like to present you with a plaque. I do want to say that I've worked with you for about 7 years now as an elected official, and I can say from when we started off, we definitely did not see eye to eye. But over the years, you have definitely been able to prove the commitment you have to the people in your precinct, and very specifically to the city of San Juan. Many areas that experienced great flooding, and of course the people had always the worry of their investments in their homes being called to question every time that there was rain. You've made that something no longer that they need to worry about, improving the quality of life for them, especially in the Minnesota area road and the northern part of San Juan, streets that have been paved with curb and gutter that the city would not have been able to do by themselves. And even the most recently is the investment of over $1 million, almost 1.2 million in the city, which you are a resident in, for streets that have been in dire need, and we had not been able to make that a reality unless you had jumped in to make the proposal. And so as we speak, and we're going to have an update, we know that the Cesar Chavez has been fixed for the area that you committed to. We have Eldora and Sioux Road, which we have many residents have been waiting a long time for that, and that will be a reality soon. Nolan, and of course, we've seen the work on Moore Road, just for now, the ones that we've seen, and you've even mentioned to me there's other possibilities, which is phenomenal. So on behalf of the entire city of San Juan and its residents and this commission, I'd like to read this plaque and ask if you can come forward as we present this to you. And it reads this way. The City of San Juan presents this recognition of appreciation to County Commissioner Hector Tito Palacios of Precinct 2 for the many years of service, dedication, and commitment to the community of San Juan. Thank you for your outstanding leadership and the vision that you have positively impacted the quality of life for our community today and into the future. Your tireless and selfless work for your people leaves an excellent example of what truly is the meaning of public service. Given to you today, December 9th, 2014. Thank you. And Commissioner, we're going to come down with you to take some pictures. And we'll give you a chance to say
Que Dios te bendiga, Tito.
Thank you, Commissioner, and also do want to recognize, he spoke of his wife, but she's a longtime educator that's given great time of her life to educating our local students also, so we thank you for being present with us. Yes, yes, Commissioner?
You know, you're here because of this event, along with the rest of the business on the agenda. And I want to take the opportunity to tell you how proud I am
a shout out to Judge Palacios. I practice in Hidalgo County, so. Thank you all for being here this evening.
Can I say a few words?
Absolutely, Judge.
Obviously, I want to thank the commission, the mayor, for giving this great recognition to my father. Dad, on behalf of sisters, myself, our family, I want to thank you for leading us, for being faithful, but most importantly, you served your community. 50 years of public service. You did it with dignity, you did it with honesty, but the most important, you did it with integrity. And for that, Dad, the community and our family love you forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing those words, and all true. Thank you for being here. We will now go on with our regular business, other parts of our business here. Under item B, presentation and update on the water plant number 2. Mr. Cruz.
Mayor, Commissioners, included in your packet is my status report for the plant. Now, I don't know if you want to go through this. On this item, the contractor is here tonight, contractor and one of his representatives. If you want me to go over this memo, or do we want to hear from him?
I want to hear from him, and I'd like for you to be able to direct us into the areas that we've been asking, and the updates would be based on that. If he can come forward.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Gonzalez, and Commissioner Palacios. I want to personally thank you for all your years of service, too. Thank you very much.
State
Yes,
your name
ma'am.
State your name, please.
Yes, my name is Michael D. Smith. I'm the president and owner of Texas Descon. Dario Guerra with me, is my project engineer, or excuse me, project manager. Let me correct myself for the project. Yes, I can do a quick update, too, if you don't mind, Mr. Cruz.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
I think that's what the.
Yes, ma'am.
commission wants to hear.
I met with your interim city manager, Mr. Gonzalez, a couple weeks ago, and then I submitted to the engineering firm the information they're requesting, be it the biggest one, the schedule of values, so everyone can see how much money this thing's going to cost me broken up to. I since met with Mark, with your office today, in which he approved that. More importantly, he also approved our schedule for the whole project today, which we submitted also at the previous meeting with the city manager, Mr. Gonzalez. And in that, Mark said that there was no comment review. He accepted the schedule, which essentially, our proposed schedule is 3.9 months quicker in duration on the overall project than what you intend, that you gave us contractually. Also, so we had 600 days. We show 488 days to complete the project. I guess some of the other concerns I heard was that when people drove by or you drove by, you'd say, what's going on? It doesn't look like anything, is moving, correct? So a lot of the head-end work on this project was obviously in the delineated design, where CBI, the company that the city has and that we're working with out of Chicago, did all their engineering for the clear cones, clear wells, and the filters, which is obviously the big blue stuff we see out there. All that head-in work was going on in the first 3 months that we submitted to the engineering firm, Cruz Hogan, and which has already been submitted back to us. And that was submitted, by the way, a month ahead of schedule as far as all the engineering and the approvals for all the major equipment to be installed. Since then, they are fabricating the equipment. We got a word back from CBI that their proposed delivery date is February, which on our schedule also, actually on the published specs, the equipment wasn't supposed to be here till in March. We've already got that fast track to be a month ahead there too, which is positive for everybody. So in overall, we have 4.9 months positive gain on the overall project. So basically now that all the submittal reviews have come back, now is when obviously you see all the work actually starting to take place and stuff of that nature. I do appreciate the city getting through I guess, contract issues you had with the testing lab, which was hindering us a little bit at the beginning, but we still were doing, as far as that being able to go touch the dirt and move the dirt, But that didn't stop us from doing in the early design and engineering submittals that were being submitted to your engineer.
I think what we saw transpire in the 4 months
Yes, ma'am.
since this was granted, and we've had the engineer, Mr. Cruz and his firm, meeting and asking for meetings and reporting that days are going by and we're not seeing anything. I think if I'm hearing that you're giving the justification for that time frame versus what he was explaining to us, that there is maybe a breakdown in communication, because that's not how we were being informed as to what was happening, and there was some gaps.
Yes, ma'am, and we met on those.
I understand, but that's not to happen again.
No, ma'am.
This is a huge project. It's one that we are definitely counting on staying on track. We don't want to do any change orders. We don't want to have to extend time. We know that nature has its own business that it does, and some things delay it, but when it's a good time, I think it's really strategically important that that type of communication be happening. I know, how often do you meet, Mr. Cruz?
Once a month.
Once a month with the Texas Water Development Board and on the contractor and everybody involved.
And he's just explained about what he has reported back. Are you satisfied with the
Yeah,
information that we
I
needed?
think since the last meeting that we had when Chief was there, all the concerns were aired out. A lot of things have changed. We've seen it we know about submittals. We know about the schedule of values. The schedule of values is very important. As you know, that's the only way that we can approve payroll to them, is we have to know what the schedule of values are. So if you look at our memo, they still amount billed to date. They have zero because we just approved the schedule of values.
Yes.
And then also the schedule of construction. Yes, they have, the 660 days was given to us by Chicago Bridge and Iron because they thought there was going to be a delay in the fabrication. Not a delay, just that it takes time to fabricate the claricones and the filters.
Correct.
Now, they've changed that and they've expedited it, which is great. I think in February, if we've got that date also, if they do start seeing stuff coming in, that's going to be way ahead of schedule. So
Yes, ma'am.
things are starting to move. We've, I think, ironed out a lot of who's exactly the man to talk to, which now we know is Dario, the project manager, superintendent, which is
Chad Bishop.
Mr. Bishop, and we've got ironed out that. We got the submittal, we got the schedule of values, we got the schedule of constructions. I think we're proceeding now at a favorable pace.
So in a nutshell, what you're saying is that we're on target.
You're on target, yes, and granted, like the mayor says, that they didn't have a tool to define where we were. That is the approved schedule of values we have now. And granted, the schedule of values that I turned in is quite lengthy, it's quite detailed, and they had to verify all those. Before I even turned one in, though, like I do a lot of business, obviously, with the school district and PSJ, and those schedule values are 1,500 to 3,000 line items. And I was trying to be just as detailed and not give something that's misinformation where we have to come back and forth. So when I did hand the finished product, it would be right and the correct information. And granted, all that information, that schedule of values, are dollar amounts, literally that, you all know CBI is 2.5 million for their product. That was in the published solicitation. Well, I had to get with CBI and take that 2.5 and break it, expand it, exponentially. That way that the city staff and the water board and the engineers have a tool to judge the value of what's being piecemealed out there. I mean, you can't just say 10% of 2.5 million. That's not fair for anybody to try to figure out. So we were, negotiating, let me use that word, with the vendors and subcontractors to get all the information spread out correctly to present to the engineer.
I will let you know that we've to report to us every city meeting. I'm going to still request that you do that.
Well, this type of format, we'll just keep doing it every week.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
And I can be present every meeting too, so I enjoy that. But like you said, as far as investment, we already have close to 900,000 invested in the project already. Now that the schedule's approved, then we're meeting with the resident inspector on site tomorrow to do his approval on the values. So you should be seeing something very shortly.
Very good, and as long as we've got all the information, contact, well, I'm sure, primary contact, and then he'll be reporting to us, so we know that
Yes, ma'am.
everything's running smoothly, the communication is taking place, and we are on schedule, which is the most important thing as well.
Yes, ma'am. And then those other dirty words you used at the beginning, change orders, we don't use those words in my company.
We don't approve those words.
And I don't use them either. And if you ask the PHA staff, that word's never used with us. schedule, obviously Mother Nature, but let's knock on wood that she'll be nice to us this year. Also, we are also turning in the interim paperwork for the payroll reporting reports, federal requirements to your city staff. Those have been turned in also.
Payroll for water-owned board, federally funded projects that Javier is handling through the city, verifying payroll, the people are getting paid, Davis Bacon and all that. So that's being done also by Javier of your staff.
Any other questions from the commission?
We have a scheduled meeting, the last one for the year will be this Friday. And,
Yes, on site.
So, on site, that's the monthly meeting. It's probably, I think it's the second week, third week of every month. So the last one will be this Friday for this year.
Yes, sir.
We'll call it a year.
Very good. I appreciate you being here today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Commission.
Thank you for being here.
Go ahead.
On the plant,
We also have you down for the canal crossings and all those.
well, C
I-
is, I'm at the next item unless you want me to skip to D.
I'm sorry, I was already going down the list. Just finish up the one that we're talking about right now.
The water plant, well, if you look at my schedule, I mean, what's happening out there, the entrances are starting to move, the electrical is starting to get installed, the ducts, the submittals, which is very important at this type, at this stage of the construction, we're seeing them and they're getting approved and the plants are being fabricated already, which is the metal part in Chicago. Chicago Bridge and Iron, actually, they're doing it in Houston. So we should start seeing in February, pieces of metal start getting there and they'll be fabricated on site. But pieces will be started, like a water tower, when they bring in the pieces and they weld them together. And that's what we'll be in February. So I think it's moving that they leave. I think it's great. The meeting that we had pushed them. I think they
Good.
found the urgency and they started to respond because we're scared. Obviously, we weren't going to pay them anything before we get the schedule of values.
Correct.
So that also prompted them to get something done. Do
Stay
you have
on.
any questions on the plant?
I have done. Any member of the commission? Go ahead.
Right now, we are pumping water from the plant to the reservoir at City Hall on that new line. That is active already. That's probably on my other report.
Yes. Go ahead.
If you have any questions on the plant? You want me to go to the items?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and read into item D, project update by Ronnie Cruz on the following matters. Water plant number 2, lowering of the canal road crossings and road widening, Eldora and Sergeant Leonel Trevino, 2014 street construction, project raw water reservoir transfer line project, construction of the water and sanitary sewer lines along the north side of US Expressway 83, lowering of canal crossings on Sioux Road, urban county project, EDAP project, first-time sewer connections, and 3.5 million gallons of water treatment plant number 2 expansion and rehabilitation to the existing plant.
The first one is the 16-inch water transfer line. This has been going on. It's the contractor, DK3 Hornbeck. They're about 90, actually, they're not at 99 because they haven't paved 7th Street. The weather's really delayed that project at the very end.
What
The
street?
water is moving. 7th?
7th.
7th and a little bit of Wyoming. And after that, it's just cleanup, quantity adjustment, final quantity, and getting them out of here. We're trying to finish before the end of the year. By December 19th is what we're trying to hit to finish this project. And if it doesn't rain, we will. But the weather's really hindered the end of this project. But the water is being transferred already. It's already being used, so it's working. It's working.
What's the warranty on this?
1 year. 1 year from when we accept it. We haven't accepted it yet. Any questions on that project? The next one is the lowering of the canals in Eldora and Sergeant Trevino. Of course, Eldora was done several months ago. Now it's time to start Sergeant Trevino. The change order was issued to begin construction on Monday, December the 8th, which the contractor has begun. And that is the the project is being funded by the county, which the county has very instrumental in getting these two projects done, the two canal crossings. So on this change order, it was approved that they're going to be working at night because of the canal. Irrigation district requested that they do it ASAP, so the change order did request and authorize them to work at night to get this thing done. So, and of course, this is probably the best time of year because there's no school. Hopefully they'll be out, I don't know when they're out, but they're pretty soon. And low water usage because we are going to have to put out the 16-inch raw water line heading to the plant at City Hall out of line for about 3 or 4 days maybe. So that plant will have to go down. But at this time of year, and if it's raining, obviously you don't use as much water. And we also need to adjust another 6-inch water line that serves the Mercedes-Benz in that area there, so they're going to be out of water maybe for a day. But it's part of what needs to be done.
Ronnie, we had heard, Mr. Cruz, about at some time that we needed to do within 48 hours, that kind of urgency from the irrigation. That's not happening at this point?
I think
There was some
48
talk
hours,
about that.
yeah, well, they say as quickly as possible. So working 24 hours a day is all we can do. And I think it'll be done where the canal, they're going to make an open field canal. So once it's bypassed, the canal's used, so it doesn't matter anymore. It's already a canal. So as they lower it, put the canal, the road down, then they'll transfer it to the new siphon and then just do away with that one, take it out. So, and they're gonna line it with concrete. That was part of the change order, to get those pipes that are out there, we're not gonna use them. Belong to the county. 39 days. 39 days starting Monday to finish that project.
Now, I know that we got a notice for all the residents, especially in the night users, be enough there to be able to show lighting because they're working and the people aren't going to be going through there unknowingly.
They have it closed, and now, they don't have it
It was
closed
open
completely.
to the residents, right?
Yes, for through traffic they have to have them all the way, so you can't close it at Raul Longoria completely, because the people that live there have to be able to get in there. Now, it does have barricades telling you what's gonna happen. People don't read them, they go and they're trying to turn around, in a little area, but they'll learn, and they'll start knowing that it's gonna be closed, and it's not gonna be that long. Before long, it'll be done. 39 days, it's gonna be less than that, we hope, with weather permitting.
But was a notice sent? I think that was a question.
Yes, Commissioner, we
Okay.
did send a notice to Code Red Alert. The fire chief took care of that, and IT department. So we also informed the residents of how to go around and to get to their residence, because there were concerns that nobody was being informed as to what routes to take. So we took care of that. So
And the contractor does give out notices also, in English and in Spanish. But it's, a lot of them don't get delivered, they just dump them in the mailboxes and, how they go, or the front door or something. But if you're coming from the east, it's not a problem. It's the one coming from the west is the issue. Any questions on that one?
And of course, the school district has already made the different adjustments for the buses, and we assured that, okay.
The 2014 street record, that's just the final, that has been, all closeout documents have been submitted as October the 23rd, so the one-year warranty began October 1st, 2014 for that one. It's just an update. The raw water reservoir transfer line, this was awarded to OG Construction for $1.595 million in September. We've already held a pre-construction meeting. We've held they've already started. If you look at the park, there's some pipe sitting out there. They started the delivery of the pipe. We've had some submittals that we already approved. So that construction would have started Monday if it would have been a little bit drier, but they're starting in mud and they can't get going. But delivery of the pipe is there. There's several areas. This is the raw water line from the reservoir at Sergeant Trevino to the new plant to service water, because we're just about to lose the old reservoir, the problems with that one. So this will solve that temporarily until the other one is fixed. Any questions on that one?
When is that projected to be completed?
They have,
What kind of timeframe?
did we put the days here? 210 days. The notice to proceed was issued on November 24th. So 210 days, 7 months. So I don't think it'll take that. The problem is on this is going to be the bores on Raul Longoria, the borings. It's going to be a big, on Sioux Road, it's going to be a major, the road will have to be completely closed. There's going to be 2 bore pits to cross that. After, that's the major part of the project. I think, oh, and of course 495, across from the new school, we're going to cross there. So that, those 2 are the major,
And so boring, we would not be disturbing the surface at all?
no.
Okay.
Oh, and of course the pump house, the new pump house at the reservoir. That's the 3 large components of this.
Go ahead.
The next one is the construction of the water and sewer lines along the north side of the expressway. We had the pre-construction meeting this morning. The contractor is, again, OG Construction. They, for a low bid of $491,545. Like I said, the pre-construction meeting was held this morning. We're going to issue the notice to proceed for January 5th. That's the first Monday after the year. There's no reason to be trying to start right now. And this project is, of course, the water and sewer around the expressway, around from the Mercedes-Benz, east along Sergeant Trevino, then north along, south along Retama, then to the expressway, then we go east and tie in, and now we have that big loop for the people that are there. And this morning at the pre-con, we did invite all the people that are involved there. So Charles Ivy was here, Pueblo Tires is ready to go once this thing's done. The nursery, the Flexi Compras, all those people, everybody's on board on this project. We had them all here this morning.
What's the ending date on that, this particular?
That one is 120 days, starting January the 5th. The next, any questions on that one? The next project is the lowering of the canal on Sioux Road. This is, I think this construction has also already begun. They got 80 calendar days to complete that project. And the low bid was also Texas Cordia, which are the ones that did Eldora, and they're doing Sergeant Trevino. Now they're going to jump and also do Sioux Road. That was done for a low bid of $415,898. And the notice to proceed was issued on November 17th, and they have 80 calendar days to complete. Now, they've, obviously, we're already in December, but there's a lot of rain days here. But they're getting after it already, as far as I know.
The coordination between what they're doing and what's happening on gas line as far as shutting down the water and that kind of thing is all being,
The advantage they have over there is there's actually another pipe,
Oh.
like what we had in Eldora. We had a 48-inch pipe, so we, remember the canal did break on Eldora. So they had water. And Sergeant Trevino, if it breaks, there's no water. And of course, that feeds a plant for North Alamo and Nawasa. So they cannot be without water on our Sergeant Trevino. But they're also going to go with an overland bypass. We gave them our design and said, look, don't do it the other way, do it this way, because irrigation district's not going to let them do it anyway.
and so you said that they've already started, and that too is something that the schools have been told about and the residents are been informed.
I'm sure they
That's a
have. I
higher
mean,
density, that's a higher density area to inform.
I don't know if half engineering, we're not doing that one, so I'm not sure. Half, Mr. Garza, have they contacted you guys?
Then we need to do it.
I'm thinking they're already starting. I know they're mobilizing. They might not close the street yet. Okay, I'll get with them.
Get with them, please. Chief, follow up with that.
Any questions on that one? The next one's the EDAP. I included the schedule again. It's still going along. It's a slow process. I'm going to revise the schedule in 2015.
Provide the schedule to us?
Yes, should have been the attachment. It's in my pen drive.
Go ahead, I don't have
The
it.
same one from last.
Do you have it up there, Mr. Rodriguez?
say-
Can you please get to it?
We are already, Category A has been approved, Category B has been approved, so we're on Category C. In City Hall, they do have the environmental report. It was published in the advance for public notice. The copy is at Chief's office, so if anybody, you read it in the advance saying if you want to look at the environmental, if you can make heads or tails out of it, it's there to read. It has to be there for 30 days. So that puts it into January. So I'm going to revise it a little bit, but it is there already. The design has begun also. We've already begun all the design work. But it's going along. It's just everything is in steps when it's EDAP, when it's federal money.
And so when, as we start looking at this being ready to be considered funding, what kind of time frame and what are we looking at so that we can start preparing for that?
Well, we're going to already start preparing because all the applications are due to the Water Development Board starting in February with the SWIFT, what's going on with the SWIFT, and in March, they're all due. So obviously, we need to put for this one, for several of them that for construction. One of them's the reservoir, we're put them all in there and see what happens.
Okay, and should the, once you've, application has been,
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, let me rephrase that. EDAP has nothing to do with that. They have their own, doesn't go to, they have their own, as soon as
Okay.
we're done, we're ready to go to start getting construction, because the design is being done right now,
right,
yes.
but our portion,
The
mean-
Water Development Board will,
I understand. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If we're looking at timeframes of submittal and it's ready to go and they're going to say, okay, it's ready to start funding, y'all are ready to go, we need to get your matching by a certain time,
we're still looking at the end of April,
okay?
but next meeting, I will have an update. I know we've been talking to, actually today, with the Water Development Board on some of the categories, finalizing the little, dotting the i's, crossing the t's, but they will tell us, okay, now you need this, now you need this. They're pretty good at that.
But I'd like you, if you can bring it the next time they make the update, a map of the areas.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to be able to see that so that our folks can also see which are the areas that we're designating as under the EDAP program. Thank you, Chief.
Any questions on that project?
Any questions from the commission? Go ahead.
Well, the last one is the water plant. I think
Yes.
there's the schedule, it's up there.
Right.
The last one is the water plant. Unless you all have any questions, I think
We've covered that already.
beat that one with a horse. Beat it.
All right. If there are other questions, then we'll go on to the next item. Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Under item C, presentation of proposed increase of city fees. Bye, y'all. Take care.
Good evening, City
Good evening.
Commissioners. Yes, Mayor, just to continue with the conversation on the upgrading some of the fees from the Planning Department. I'm going to present at this point the Planning Department fees that we discussed last week. We make one change to the subdivision based on our communications that we had on the previous meeting. And then after that, Mr. Rodriguez will discuss the alcohol fees, okay? And so, just to go over the fee comparison, on the first page, when you have the, I guess, let me go ahead and see if I can adjust this. Yes, you have a, first page is the fee comparison. I'm not be able to. As you can see, we're currently charging $50, and we're proposing a new fee of $60, the electronic subcontractor license, the occupational license from $30 to $40, the reinspection from $30 to $40, the zone change request from $200 to $300, the conditional special use permit, $200 to $300, the variance request, $200 to $300. And the subdivision application fee, we currently charging $400. We would like to change that to $300, and then plus $50 per acre to be compatible. Because on the direct cost of the planning department fees on the next page, this is the cost directly when we issue electrical subcontractor license. It's $17 based on approximately about an hour of staff that's spent on that particular license. Occupational license at $17. Reinspection fee is roughly $17. The zone change request, it is $190, and basically that involves on the wage and benefits, 3 hours from the director, 4 hours of staff, which is add up to $290, adding the advertising and the postage and supplies. The conditional use permit and the variance request is basically on those two are about the same as far as the time and the cost and the advertising. And the subdivision application fees, those involves a lot of the staff, labor, to go out there and oversee the project and check on those lines. And so approximately it's 170 hours of staff and 7 hours for fire department staff and 1 for planning, which is a total of 3,049. And on the next page, on the projection fees analysis, this will be the analysis if, based on the revenues, as you can see on the first column, which is the actuals for 2013, and then the actuals for 2014, and it goes into effect, that's approximately how much money we'll be collecting, and that's a total of $36,360. Okay, so that's a difference roughly about almost $10,000 in additional revenues. Okay, and at this point, do you have any specific questions?
I do. Do we do hardship considerations? I mean, I think one of the things that the board the planning and zoning, probably have more of our typical or our regular residents, not necessarily building anything or just looking for a variance, and I see that the fees be from 200 to 300. Do we do any type of exceptions on hardship on any of those cases? Do we have that kind of, no? It just seems from 200 to 300, I see the cost, but would that be what is the highest amount of requests for any of these that we're looking at? Where do you see the bulk of the concentration? The zone changes. We see only 6 here? We have to approve those? So the only ones that we're looking at? Okay. So you only have 6 a year? And the average have more calls than that regarding those, so maybe it's because they don't go through, perhaps. That's the only one that I'm just looking at. But if you're saying it's only 6 or 8, we're not. Those. Or what I wanted to propose was 250. Kind of meet you somewhere in the middle, and that's what I was making reference to, because those are, I know that the folks that come are the ones that are. Okay. Right, because if it gets denied, they don't get it back. So that's what I mean, I just want to pose on that particular one. See what the commission thinks, but I think those are the ones where we have some of the regular folk just coming to look. Okay. And this is just the planning, right? These are just the
Yes,
ones
this
proposed?
is
Are
the
there any
planning.
questions on these proposals that are being submitted? And I asked you to look at the one that had, I think it was in this one, that had the big differences between, I'm sorry, no, that's Mr. Gonzalez. Never mind.
Presenting that, and
In a
when
little
you get
bit.
to that section,
Okay.
yes.
Are there any questions? Are you asking for us to take a vote today?
No, it's basically a presentation.
I'm
Mayor.
good with the,
And eventually, I guess when we meet in the next city commission meeting, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put it in ordinance,
okay,
and then we're gonna send it to the attorney to review it, and then we'll submit it for approval
Yes.
for the first reading.
okay. Do take into consideration that one item, if not 300, then I'm not 250. Okay, okay. Okay, I think everything else you explained well, and you do the analysis, and it looks like it's going to be okay. I mean, it looks justifiable, so I'm good with you on that one. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and now, Mr. Rodriguez is gonna go
Mr.
on and
Rodriguez?
discuss the alcohol fees.
Mayor, and Commissioners, good evening. Tonight, I come before you for the first time to present some fees, the alcohol permit fees, and kind of tailored it to what the commission would like seeing as far as breaking it down, as far as some of the costs are concerned. The first one I want to share with you is there's permits and licenses that the TABC rules and permits that they issue out across the state of Texas. Ms. Sissing, can you forward it up a little bit? Yeah, move it up a little bit, because I think it's skipping, it's on half a page. Okay. The ones you see there before you are the first one is the BQ, which is the wine and beer retailer's off-premise permit. What we're currently charging and what our cities around the area are charging, and then our proposed new fee. If you notice the asterisk next to that item, to that certain license or code, these are the ones that are in our current ordinance 0907. And then there's going to be some that do not have the asterisk, and those are the ones that we need because we currently have businesses that are operating in the city of San Juan that do not fall under ordinance 0907. So we would need to amend that to include those. But let me continue going. I just wanted to explain the asterisks. The BG, which is a wine and beer retailer's permit, we're currently charging $87.50, and the proposed new fee is $175 a year. And I'll get to why there's a big jump there in some of these. The BF, which is the beer retailer's off-premise
That's a
license.
one-time fee?
It's a yearly fee, Mayor.
Yearly.
These are
One-
yearly fees, Mayor. The MB, the mixed beverage permit, is $750 after the third year. The TABC has a list of surcharges that they charge businesses when they come to ask for permits, and they give them, on this one here, they give them, these are more for your restaurants. I'm giving an example, like your Papados that sell the liquor, the mixed drinks, you know, the different type of various drinks. This is where this one falls into. And we're starting to get restaurants that come in and are asking to be able not only to sell beer, but to sell wine, to sell margaritas, to sell, you know, something on the rocks or stuff. And this is where this permit comes in. So we don't charge them for the first 2 years, but then the third year, they've got to surcharge. The state charges them, I believe, almost $1,500, I think, is what the state charges them. And then the fee there, I'll explain again the big jump there. The LB, the mixed beverage, the late hours, We want to go to 150 on that, which we do not currently have an ordinance to charge any of our businesses
So
that.
they would be charged both the mixed beverage and the permit
Depend-
and the late hours?
Yes, ma'am. Depending on the permit that, we're going by what TABC has that business registered under. So we have a listing that gives those, every business is given a code that they apply for, and they pay at the state level. They're just not, some are not paying at the city level, they're just paying at the state level. And so we want to get them to pay at the city level also. And then the PE, the beverage cartage permit, is at $20 a year. Again, this is one that affects us because we have some businesses in San Juan that the ones I've listed are the ones that are currently active in San Juan. The ones with the asterisk are the ones that, under the ordinance, we can charge a fee. The other ones are not paying any type of fee. But other cities are doing it, and we need to be part of that group. Mrs. Sina, if you can move it up a little bit more. Again, this is a continuation of what the asterisk are the ones that we're currently dealing with right now, that are current within the city of San Juan, that we have businesses dealing in. The first one on is a BL. It's a retail dealer's on-premise late-hour license. We're currently charging $125. We want to go to the proposed new fee is $250, which is kind of similar to some of the cities that are doing that. The FB, the food and beverage, again, this is one that we have some businesses that are, we do have some businesses that are operating in the city of San Juan that are, again, because they don't fall under the ordinance, are not paying a fee, a city fee for this. Then you have the Q, which is the wine-only package store, the P, the package store permit, and then the PS package store, and you can see the proposed fees. Now, the proposed fees, let me go ahead and I'll go
What is
to
a
the.
package store permit? How is that different than, What does that
I left it over there, Mayor. There's a definition, I can get you those definitions, but some of them are, if I'm not mistaken, we have someone here with TBC that could probably, the consultant, would you know what that is, ma'am? The package?
If I'm not mistaken, that's the
Wholesaler, right? Or is it the retail wholesaler, or is it? One of them is like, we have, for instance, let me give
we
you.
have them here.
Relatively new, I'm with Maldonado Business Services, I don't directly work with
Well, no, I mean, I don't expect you to know
Yeah,
the
no,
answer,
it's
just,
okay, yeah.
he's the one
No,
that turned to you, but
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking
No,
you.
no,
do-
I thought you could help in that one, Mayor, and I believe that.
We have,
uh,
you're saying
There's currently businesses that, I don't want to name some, but my understanding is we have one that's I think there's Steve's Ice House, and they bring it in from there and they distribute it to their stores here in San Juan. And so therefore they're getting.
not a full distribution center, but they,
It's like a package store they're picking up and taking to their satellite stores.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. That's one of them right there.
okay.
And then it just talks about a testing permit. Again, these are codes that we currently have. I didn't attach them to your, in which I'll do that, Mayor, if you like. I'll attach to the commission. I'll attach you the list so you could see the codes, and I probably should have done that to some of these businesses so you can see
He
it.
tells them it's a liquor store.
It's a liquor store, yeah. So, but I know one of them falls in there under that category, but that's where we are on the first one. We're currently charged $125, want to go to $250. The FB, we're currently not charging. We do want to charge with the amended ordinance. The Q, it's $37. We want to go to $150. The package store, it's $150, and we're proposing the $500 a year. The PS, the package store, of course, be consistent with some of our bigger cities that are charging. That's just $25 a year. This here, Mrs. Singh, yeah, there you go.
Bobby, I have a question for you. Where does those individuals that sell beer or attend our functions, where do they fall here? That temporarily for those particular functions?
They
wanna
have
sell
a
beer?
temporary, there's a temporary license. I was just getting the information. There's they fall under here where they can sell alcohol beverages, almost like a vendor. And it's a temporary, and they pay for a certain amount of time. And the only restrictions, we were talking about that, and I'll give you a perfect case is the Noche de Paz, as we as we going to have someone selling beer in the area of the Noche de Paz. TABC, only thing they ask is that they issue them a license so a person can buy a beverage and then walk around with that beverage, but it all falls back on what the city and the chief of police, how they're going to handle that. So in other words, that person would get that permit or go visit chief first, how he would handle it, or if he would allow folks to walk around the event with a beverage.
Do we have an ordinance, or is it just a law?
It just, on those type of events, the TABC allows them to sell, and up to the city, we allow them to walk around and listen.
And do we allow that by means of an ordinance, or do we allow that by means of,
It's a
on the
discretion,
spot?
on the spot, discretion of the city. Obviously, the chief of police can allow that, if the city wants that. But we haven't had any major incidents that not to allow it for our citizens. Last year, I think we only had one incident that one person did.
And it comes
That
with
would
the
be with the
responsibility.
the compounds of the grounds of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
event,
Yes,
It
ma'am.
has to be the
Yes, ma'am.
company.
Yes, ma'am.
nothing else.
Yes, ma'am. And so, if you look at the next slide, it's the TABC state fees. And these are the fees that we can relate back to what I wanted to charge. These are the fees that the state currently charges every business and operation that has those particular permits or license. And what we're proposing is to charge I could not find it, but there's the state TABC we called, and they says, we'll allow you to charge up to half of what we charge. So if they charge $120, then the max the city could charge would be $60. The BG, $350, I think we said $175. And so it goes on, but these are state fees that some cities are charging, but now that we're having all these, with all the new businesses coming in with restaurants, as we prepare to have more national chains come in that do sell, we got to be prepared to charge them a fee, just like our sister cities do. And it's just based on up to 50% of what the state charges. Let me go ahead and, this is where we're at right now, Mr. Seen, if you can. In your next slide, in your binder there, you should see what we're currently, I didn't, when you asked the question earlier, Mayor, is how many businesses we have under BQ, how many under BG, I probably should have put in parentheses there what kind of business, how many we have. But as you can see by the revenue that is expected this year, just on the permits that we are charging, that's the expected revenue income for the licensing that we have. And of course, we do want to add the others that are not currently in the ordinance. Of course, there's nothing in 215. We just started, well, as the new year starts in 2015, we already have $90. And so if you go over to the last column, you'll see the proposed, if the commission decides to, you can look at this some more and maybe ask me some more questions independently tonight and then on your own. But if we propose the 50% fee, which most of the cities around us are doing, that is the expected revenue income at the end of the year of $10,550. And some of this is new realized money that we haven't had before for the city. And it would be in line to what the FAR, the McAllen, the Edinburgh cities are charging. And so, and I kind of, I think that would be a fair assessment, but we could go half of that. In other words, you could go to 50, you can go to 25 if you like, or 33 or 35.
For the ones that we've never done before, is what
Yes,
you're saying.
you could do that, yes.
And
ma'am.
then the 50% that you're proposing
It's
based on
just,
the cost
it's just,
is what we're allowed to actually go
yes,
up
ma'am,
to.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you're going to get into costs, right?
Right, if it will go into the next slide, Mr. Singh. Right now, Mayor, I included this because the process on when a business comes in to, of course, they get their license to operate the business through planning and zoning. The license then comes over to us. And so what happens is planning and zoning will come over, they'll get the paperwork, and they'll come over and bring it to my office. And then in my office, what we'll do is We'll make sure that they've met all the requirements. I do not sign any permits unless we have the okay from the planning and zoning. So roughly the $34 is an hour. We could charge by 30 minutes or whatever it takes to get the process done. But I was fair in saying that 1 hour from planning to get that information, to process it, bring it over to my department. We, in turn, make the copies, get the fee charged, file away the paperwork, and all that is within about an hour's time. It takes about an hour. And once you run copies, you order the materials and everything, I think it's a fair assessment that 1 hour for planning and 1 hour for City Secretary's office. So the total cost, now, this could change because I haven't met with Hussein yet, but I want to come in and I'm going to go to the next slide. It'll prompt me to the next slide. Matter of fact, let me go there right now. Right now, we have a total of 46 businesses that are past due, and the total amount owed to the city is $10,385 in permit fees. And what that is, Mayor, is what we discovered is that since I came on board, the process, we've been charging the businesses that have come to us, we've been, through the planning department, we've been assessing the $30 fee. But as we've researched it, I've researched it with Ms. Regalado. We've been going through it as she comes. She's also a consultant and used to be a former TABC agent. She started explaining the process to me. So when we started going back, we found out there wasn't very good record keeping when it came to the beer licenses and the renewals. You know, when they come up, when is it going to flag? And so with planning, we were able to consolidate that. And so now as the businesses come over and we research it through TABC website, what that business is applying for, now we can adequately charge them the fee that whatever the commission decides that fee to be at. And then what I'd like to do is visit with Mr. Baca and come up with a program so that automatically generates every year, so we can send out a letter to these businesses and say, hey, in 30 days your renewal comes up. And we're doing that for the last 2 years. We've been doing that with Family Dollar and the dollar stores. They've been real good. What we found out that there were some businesses that haven't, from day one since they opened, they have not paid any type of fee as per our ordinance. And so that's the money that you see up there. I did visit with Mr. Vasquez and getting a letter together and how we go about charging them. And I'll come back to y'all and so that you'll have more accurate numbers of some of these businesses. But that's what we realized, Mayor, and I want to go to Mr. Baca so we can develop some type of program. I don't know how much that will cost or if that's something that we could do in-house, but something that would serve as would flag us as we input it into the system. It'll automatically alert us that we have to send out this letter and get those fees turned in.
We have, when we issue out those conditional use permits, they've come to us that we're supposed to go and review over in a year. Those are done administratively or they're brought back each time? Okay, so that's the time to catch if the renewal is going to happen. So that's what you're trying to get it, that it doesn't get renewed unless they've paid the other fee as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Is
That's
that
what,
what you're-
yes, and that's what I'm saying. So we've got a good process as they come in. It just triggers another, and then we're able to charge them the fee that the commission decides. We won't have to do it tonight, but as you go back and look at it, to say, you know what, this is what we feel is fair to charge these businesses. But I do feel that we've not charged some of these businesses what we should be charging them.
And when you went back to see what was, that's as of the day for each one that was approved until now, how far back are we looking at some
Well,
of these?
what I did was went back and just, one was you cannot charge them something that's not in the ordinance. And I mean, you can only go to where the date of the ordinance. The ordinance was passed, I believe, in 2009. So that's how far back I went. And some of these businesses have been open before that, Mayor, and they just, there's no
So the date of the
records.
ordinance forward.
Yes, ma'am. And this is the money that we see here. I was surprised, and I'll be very honest with you, that we have a large retailer that has not paid not $1 to, as per the ordinance. We have two of them. I was surprised, taken back by that, but I'm working with Mr. Vasquez, and trying to get a letter together and inform y'all. Maybe an executive session, and be careful how we say that, but in executive session, share with y'all those businesses, and what our plan of action is to recoup that money that's out there. And then generate that money on a yearly basis, and as businesses come in, what we found, we did a public information request to all the cities because we had trouble getting some of the data. We were able to, I was able to send public information requests to the city of McAllen, and they sent me, I mean, so many invoices and permits that they're doing. But it was good, so we could see what they were charging, actually charging some of these businesses and things like that. So, you know, I think it's important that we move first to add the licenses that are not on the ordinance. We need to put them on there. And then the fee, well, that'd be something that it would be up to you all to decide how much you want to charge them. But you can see, in comparison to the other cities, the McAllens, the Edinburghs, the FAR, cities of FAR, they're charging that fee. I know some of like the city of Alamo was not charging some of that, but you know, there could be different philosophies there, Mayor. You know, some may not want to, or some may just not know that opportunity there is to charge a fair permit fee. So that's where I'm at with this, Mayor. I know this is the first time y'all see it, but I'll definitely, I got some things there I would like to add to share with y'all. As far as the businesses that we do have that fall under that total, then I'll share with you the letter and some of the delinquency on some of these businesses that they owe the city. But just wanted to share that with y'all tonight, and we'll get it ready for you. Yes, sir.
In reference to the late hours, is it 12 or 2 o'clock?
I believe it's 2 o'clock.
Okay,
It's a late hour permit. It's up till 2.
okay.
If I'm correct, right? That's correct. That's what I thought. But that's where we are with that. But like I said, as we're getting new businesses in, Mayor, I think it's important in commission that we get those codes in there, those permit fees in there. It'll be important. It'll be important, and we won't be doing anything that other cities aren't doing. And these folks know it's a cost to run that type of business. So, and some of them are prepared to pay that because they know I guess they only know their bottom line, but that they're paying it and stuff like that. So,
Very
thank
good.
you, Mayor.
Thank you. This is just proposals, ma'am. As he's just said, it's when it comes back to the commission. Right now, we're just having discussions. Mr. Gomez? No, the next one is, I'm sorry, you had nothing else on these fees. Now it's Mr. Gonzalez. No. No, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at on the agenda, item C. Okay. Okay, yes, thank you. Under 4, and under 6, public hearings and ordinance A, hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance for the conditional use permit to operate a mechanic shop in a general business district for the property legally described as Lot 1, Cadena Valley subdivision located at 306 East US Business 83, as requested by Juan Aurelio Cadena. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, Mr. is requesting a permit to open a mechanic shop within the Cadena Valley subdivision along the south side of US Business 83 between Iowa Avenue and the irrigation canal. Mr. Cadena has an existing mechanic shop in the south side of the property for personal use only, and he is proposing to have a shop in the north part of the property that will be open to the public. He is proposing to install a fence to divide both mechanic shops and build a 40-foot wide entrance to have access to both shops. The property was subdivided in June 2012 into one commercial lot. Notices went out to 21 property owners, and during the planning and zoning public hearing, there were some comments in opposition to the application. During their meeting of November 20, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with a 4-to-1 vote of the conditional use permit with conditions as listed by the planning staff.
I'd like to open this public comment, public hearing at 7:21. Are there any members of the audience that wishes to make any statements for or against? Any members of the audience that have any comments for or against? Are there any questions from the commission? I do. I read the minutes by the Planning and Zoning Board, And there was a lot of going back and forth, and you got an opinion from the attorney regarding the use and the fact that there was a permit already issued, what was already in existence. And my understanding, it was issued because it was for personal use only, so.
Exactly.
And when we say personal use, I guess that's the question I have. It was not like his own vehicles, it's vehicles for business. So how is it that that didn't require it? And I know that this is a separate area that we're looking, but how do we continue operating if it's not personal use? And I guess for Mr. Cadena, the question is he going to start using that also to condition cars for the permit that he's requesting?
Whenever Mr. Cervantes came to me, all this personal use, and we talked about it, but we were already past that point. I mean, that happened in 2013. We did look at it. The conclusion we came to, because he was not here at that time, I was not part of this at that time, the only thing we could surmise and we could gather from all this is they looked into it, whoever they were, and determined this was personal use. Now, as we understand, they are using this prior business to fix vehicles so that they can take them over to his other car lot in FAR. So I raised the question, well, how is that for personal use? Because in my opinion, well, I would think it's not personal use, but I don't know. Again, we went back, well, whoever examined this in the past determined that was for personal use. Somehow they defined personal use as not fixing cars and putting them on a lot to sell here in San Juan. Since he was not doing that, they said, your personal use, you're good to go. You don't have to go through the full-blown process. Here's your permit. You're okay with that. So it was already decided back then. Whoever they were, they decided this is personal use. So whenever this came to me, we looked at that, and the Planning and Zoning Committee was concerned about that, but we can't go back and fix that because somebody already determined that.
And is that permit renewed ever so often?
The proposed shop is right here.
No, the
And
existing.
the existing shop, a permit was issued. Back when the permit was issued, it was determined that a conditional use permit was not required. So it's a business,
Permit that
it's a business that
continues.
is in San
Well,
Juan.
is Mr. Cadena, can you come forward, please? I know that we're talking from property, but I just want to ask you a question. Is your intent to sell vehicles, is what you're going to do, correct? And what you're asking,
What was your question again, I'm sorry?
no, first of all, that's what you're intending on that property that we're looking at right now for the zoning, correct?
No, I just want to build a shop there, either to rent or, for public. For example, you go, how much you charge me for the brakes, this or that, it'd be.
So you're not going to be doing any sales from there?
No, it's going to be a shop. It's going to be a mechanic shop.
And then you're not going to use the other part? I know what do you do in the other one, on the one that
Do the
you
same
have?
thing, but for my business, fix, the cars get there, they get detailed, they get washed, they get fixed, they get stored there, I do repos. I got to hold them for so many days, so they're there, pretty much.
You're not going to be any cross here? I mean, you're not going to take their car and say, hey, but I can offer you some detailing back here?
No, and the reason is that I have too much work,
That's a good thing.
Yes, and thank the Lord for that. One of the questions before the planning and zoning meeting was, what would differentiate, if I go there, fix my motor, because I can only charge you X amount of dollars, and I got 50, 60, 70 cars lined up to get fixed, to go, sell, so my business can keep rolling, So that is one main reason. Basically, what I'm trying to do is that I have that piece of property on 83, prime commercial property that I believe it is, and it's just there. There's nothing on it. There's caliche. I have no use for it. So what I'm trying to do is make a business, One, I can either rent it out, hey, you give me so much a month, you rent it out to somebody, so it can help me with my property taxes, whatever. If I don't, rent it out, maybe I can come back, hey, can I put a car lot there? Can I put a car wash there? Or rent it out to Mr. Gonzalez, say, I want to put a car wash, well, go through them, see if it's allowed, or a radiator shop, a tire shop. Basically, it's just a shop, that I would like for it to be, for public use, you know what I mean? Since the property is already there, and it's a pretty good piece of property, that I believe. I mean, I'm not using it because I'm really not using it at all. So I'm just trying to, like I said, if possible,
build a shop in front, you know, and like I said, either rent it out or, you know, provide that service, for the public, because right now, and I say it was more like for private use, it wasn't for personal, it was more like private, because you can't go there and say, you know what, hey, how much did you charge me to fix my car? Well, you know what, this is not it's not a open to the public mechanic shop, This is more just for my cars, just so they can get detailed there, so they can get stored, they can get washed. My transport trucks, that's where they stay, because where I'm at over there, it's a really, really good property. I'm blessed I'm there, but, only so much, I can do so much out of there.
Okay, and my question was whether, that's what you're telling me, that you're not foreseeing the cross-use of these two properties for the same purpose of it's just going to depend what you build there.
It's exact.
I guess keeping in mind that if it becomes a storage or a place where you're doing some business up here and having it detailed over here, or whatever you would do, then I think that would put to question what the permit now becomes, that you would understand that.
I have no.
You don't foresee that?
Yeah, at all.
Okay.
If anything, if I want to work out of it, it'd be a whole totally different business, You know what, I'll come up to you guys, you know what, I want to, put my own mechanic shop, Cadenas Auto Repair, and you all decide from there, or a car wash, or, I don't know, whatever I use it for, or even, that was another option for me, because, I have, quite a few cars, so I said, you know what, and that's why I'm just built, it's just, what is it, like 50 by 30, warehouse, and that's it. The rest is paved, landscaping, and that's it. You can pretty much, if you want to, a tire shop, you can, pretty much go around there. Or I have it for rent. Nobody's renting it. You know what? Can I put a car lot there? You all go, if it's possible, you all give me a permit. If it all goes well, then maybe I can start selling cars from the north side of the property. That's what I have in mind for it.
Property that you have, or not the business, but where you house your cars.
Yes, sir.
It's close to 6th Street, right?
It's
right.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, well, it's closer to 6th Street, yeah, it's on the south side, I kind of divided it. I took the south side and I left the north side, since it was gonna be just, I wouldn't, productive, I guess, just to put my shop in the front and then cedar fence it, and then you pass by and all you see is, a shop it's got the cedar fence. So that's why I put it to the south side, and that's why I left the north side for a future, for a,
And the barrier between the proposed area, and that's going to be in the future, right now you're just looking at zoning, or the permitting, but the barrier between those two businesses would be a wall?
It's already there. It's already, that cedar fence.
The
is
wall that
already
you
there.
have existing is the one that you're saying you're
and
proposing?
I have a fence, a sliding fence. That's where, if you see on the right side, that would be, I would leave that as the driveway, so I can come in through, because there's a door right there, and then I make the shop a little porch, just for, people decide to wash cars, give them some shade, and then the rest would be just parking.
Any other questions?
And are you really, like, it says for certain conditions, you're ready to put everything they want? Fire hydrants and, I don't know, everything they're asking?
Yeah, I've been in contact with the chief, Mr. Garza, and this is a process, and I'm actually dealing with a utilities contractor as we speak, and we're working on it. I want to see if it's worth it for me, you know what I mean? Because it's just there, it's property on 83, it's just there. If I have to invest, I understand that we have to invest, to, in the future, get what some good out of it. So that's pending, you guys are pending. And then also with the text dot, because my entrance is on the left-hand side, so I wanted to move it just to the right-hand side, because I told them if I could get 2 openings, and they said no, because it was too small, but we can allow you to move it to another side, and open it, even wind it up to 40 feet, which I said, if we can do that, that solve all my problems, because through that one entrance, you keep on going straight, and, you keep on going this side, and you're on the other property. So it's yes, I would go through every, condition, or, that is brought up upon me, and like I said, I'm weighing my options right now, basically that's what I want to do, and I would like to invest my money, my hard-earned money here, in San Juan, live here, you know, I born and raised here. But, I mean, I don't know, it's,
Well, I think that the question comes because of what we saw in the planning and zoning. I think the fact that you want to invest in someone and you're bringing one, a shop or a business is always a good thing. I think you've got a real prime location. If you're the one that handles it, then you would be conscientious of what a mechanic shop will look like. We've seen how some mechanic shops can start looking over time. But, you know, I know that you're proposing to have, you know, good, I mean, you're doing the landscaping, you're looking to put a good viable business.
yeah,
I
no,
think
no, and
that's
by all means, I
extremely
mean,
important.
I don't think any of you have been to my businesses, the one I
I've
have right
seen the
now, but,
pictures.
I think I would like to see another one.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Every Saturday, half the day is just cleaning the floors and, you know, you won't see any oil during the, you know, at the end of the week. Of course, it's gonna get, you know, dirty, but like I told my father, he helps me out a lot, and he told me, he's like, you know what, no, I take a bath every day, so you gotta clean up every day, so I really believe that. But, and I understand the issues that were brought up, you know, with the planning and zoning, and, you know, the concerns with the neighbors and stuff, but you know what, I don't think there's nothing that can not be, you know, taken care of, you know what I
Good.
mean?
Good.
So, I mean, they spoke to me, the music, you know,
Yes.
it got too loud. I told them, you know, that's not our problem, you know, I mean, I would hate for y'all to deny me a permit because of music, you know what I mean, or at one point in time, you know, I can take care of it quickly, you know, easily, you know, just no more music. But other than that, I think, you know, that was the only one main thing, so.
I appreciate you taking care of that.
Yeah, no, and I told her, you know what, my neighbors, I'm not renting there, so after a year, I don't care what you say. No, I mean, no, I bought the property, that's my bread and butter, you know, I live here, you know. I would like to, 10, 15 years, still see my neighbors, you know, there, so. Yes. No, building, it's gonna be a 50 by 30, you know, right now, what I was thinking, just a block like the one I have right now, you know, and cement, you know, on cement, the overhead garage doors. It's gonna be nice. I mean.
Besides the garage door, any like an office or?
Oh, yes.
enclosed?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a 50 by 30, you know, 30 deep, 50 wide. It's gonna have an office. It should be maybe from, I don't know, 10 by 10, 12 by 10 by 12, something like that, a restroom, you know, and then just 2 big bays so they can work off, and then a 20-foot, you know, porch canopy deal on the north side, just, you know, people, you know, you want to park under the shade, or you got to do, you know, just try to provide a little bit more, you know, more space to work out of, I guess.
Questions? Yes, you come to the microphone, please.
Concern is that it sounds pretty good, but, you know, the only thing that I'm concerned that it wouldn't be like having mobile homes or a trailer park or having somebody living there. Is it gonna be a shop, a business, and not have like a trailer house sitting in front of it and hooked up? I mean, other than that, I do believe this gentleman's gonna bring some good business into San Juan. But that's the only thing that's crossed my mind, because I have seen where we do have in San Juan, we have a trailer house sitting in front of a business, living. So maybe, you know, that's the only thing that I would be concerned, because I've seen his business. He does well. So
I don't think that's anything you're contemplating
No, I mean,
anyway.
you know, the plans, I mean, I'm not gonna make nothing, I guess, not engineer plans, but, you know, the way I did it with the other one, just a site plan, and it's gonna be nice. I mean, of course, a mechanic shop, you know, it's not gonna be luxury and whatever, but I don't think there's a mechanic shop like this in San Juan, to tell you the truth. Mine is private, mine is, you know, for my own personal use. I don't think there's one in San Juan, to tell you the truth. So, I mean.
Any other questions?
Mayor, if I can stand here.
Sure.
My voice carries pretty well.
Go ahead.
Mayor, in this property that Mr. Cadena has, one thing that everybody's not looking at, that if you look at a lot of the other businesses that we have down Business 83, his property is always real clean. You never see junk or anything compared to some of our higher properties right in the downtown area that you have junk cars, so we gotta applaud this businessman, because he does take care of that thing, and never look like Anglo-Wire or any of the other business that, the way they used to. They keep up very good looking, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Thank you. Any other comments? I'd like to close this public hearing at 7:36. Thank you, Mr. Cadena. Is there a motion for approval as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations. B, discussion of proposed ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances for Solid Waste, providing for the exclusive collection for commercial accounts and amending the commercial garbage collection rates. Mr. Gonzalez.
Mayor, Commissioners, for the record, Miguel Gonzalez, Sanitation Director for the City of San Juan. I'm presenting here before you.
Excuse me, I have to open, I have to
I'm sorry,
remove
yes,
from
on table it.
Yes, is there a motion to remove from table?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign, motion passes. Go ahead.
Mayor, Commissioners, for you, a commercial garbage pickup service for our commercial accounts. As you can see on the fiscal year ending September 30th, 13, our vehicle fuel was $45,013. Our waste disposal, what we pay over at the landfill in Edinburgh, was $87,404. Our repairs, insurance, and supplies were at $37,471. And the wages, this is for 2 employees, and this is for our front loader and side loader that we do our commercial pickups, was $28,960 for a total of $188,848. At the end of fiscal year 2014, vehicle fuel was $34,420. Our waste disposal was $96,720. Our repairs, insurance, and supplies was $31,351, with the wages of $29,820, with a total of $192,311. Any questions? Okay. Going to our next one, which would be our commercial garbage service rates. As you can see the comparisons, we are charging very low on our 300-gallon containers. For a one-time pickup, we don't normally do that. Normally, it's 2 or 3 times a week. As you can see, Alamo is charging $80.18. City Far is charging $63.53. Westlaco is charging $78.63. And Westlaco, they don't have a 90-gallon container that the other cities use. They have a 96-gallon container. It's a little bigger. Our proposal for the new fee is $74.11 for a difference of, well, it would be $74.11. My comparison was, I was trying to, since we are really undercharging, I balanced out the three cities and came up with that figure. On the 300-gallon, 2 times a week, we're charging $61.75, compared to Alamo at $136.31. FAR 127.07, Westlaco at 144.13. My proposed rate is $135.83, which would be a difference of $74.08
So you're proposing?
in comparison.
You're proposing to start picking a one-time on the 300?
No, Commissioner, Mayor, no, we're still gonna keep it at 2 times a week, but we'll be charging, my proposal to charge $135.83. Right now, we're charging $61.75 for 2 pickups a week. I just want to bring it up to where we can be compatible with other cities. On the other, on the 300-gallon containers, 3 times a week, we are charging $123.50. Alamo's charging $188.46. FAR is charging $190.60. Westlaco is charging $209.68. I'm proposing $196.25, with a difference of $72.75 from our current charge right now. On our 6 cubic yards, 2 times a week, we are charging right now $185.25. Alamo's charging $219.34. FAR is charging $255.25. Westlaco $240.57. I'm proposing $238.39, which would be a difference of $53.14. On our 8 cubic, and this is
really all school pickups. And then we pick them up 3 times a week. We are charging $307 right now, Alamo $341.15, FAR is charging $509.38, West Laco $357.48, and my proposal is $402.67 with a difference of $95.67.
So these are just schools?
Yes, ma'am.
For clarification, Mike, you do have the 300-gallon, 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times a week. They have
Well,
that
we don't-
option,
we don't-
or do commercial services, option for businesses, or?
Yes, it is an option.
Oh, okay, so you
Yes,
do
we can-
offer that
right.
1 time a week,
Mhm.
okay.
So we didn't have it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure.
We do have it. Or
Pardon?
you're proposing it. We do have it
We
right
can
now.
propose, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We're doing it right now?
No, we're not.
You're wanting to propose?
We want to propose that.
Coming in, okay.
And how many accounts do we have under the cubic yard?
6 cubic. 100, 100, it'll be 124, and for 2014, it'll be 143. You know, their merit with the 8 cubic, we're pretty much comparable with, let me put it back to, we're pretty much comparable with Alamo and West Laco. We're charging 307 right now, Alamo's at 341, and West at 357. If we average those out, we can propose 349.31, Mayor. And at that rate, we'll still have a difference of 42.31, so we'll still be getting money there. It's not there, Mayor. I figured I was doing this in case, you know, I remember last time you told me you had an issue with a 402. And the reason why you came up with a 42, because what brought it that high was a 509 that I was comparing with the city of FAR. But if I omit that, Alamo and West Laco, we put those, and, you know, we even charging at 349.31, we'll still have a difference plus 42.31.
And I know you did a cost analysis, right?
Just a minute.
I'm just going to go back to that. Which slide was that, Mr. Gonzalez?
On Ocean, Mayor.
I know that you had,
On the comparison rates,
not comparison, our costs.
okay, it'll be on the next
What
one.
page
It'll be-
was that?
It'll be in the commercial garbage, actual project fees and analysis.
Oh, you did as a lump, as a,
Right.
where's the cost, sir? Where's the cost of it to us?
The cost, we have,
You have, okay, we know the revenues, I know how many accounts, proposed new income and the differences, but I think one of the things, unless I missed the slide, is there one that talks about the actual cost to us for an account, you know?
Summer? Is that?
We did, what we did.
Where would that be?
Well, direct cost, but basically we plug in the totals, Mayor, instead of dividing it by.
And when you're saying direct costs, where is that?
It's on the first, it's on the first slide, when we talk about the vehicle.
Okay, so you
fuel.
just did one overall?
Overall. and
You
what
didn't go by size and by, it cannot be allocated that way, so it just kind of,
Well, just easier, what we did is at the end, we kind of put everything together and see, we did a comparison cost, what is the actually cost to do the commercial services, what it costs on what we collect on the revenues. And as you can see, I guess if you go on the summary, if you want to go on the summary, it's basically on the fiscal year 2014, we billed 139,187 when it comes to commercial garbage accounts. And the direct cost allocated to that was 192,311. So that's a difference of 53,124. And, I mean, we can allocate it as far as the cost and find out.
I mean, I don't know, I understand what you're saying. I don't know if, when I'm looking at the fees that you're increasing, and I can see what you're showing the comparables, and then you're showing overall. And then we're imposing some that are going from 70 to, I'm just guessing, one of them low to about 300. And there's, the really big gap from where we were and we are. I'm just kind of, I don't know that it answered the question, but that's just kind of getting there based overall. And I guess, how did you determine, other than, am I right to believe then you determine the new rates based on the average on the outside? What everybody else is charging, right? Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
And like I said, Mayor, these figures were done on the two commercial vehicles that pick up the commercial pickups, and it's based, I believe, on 16% of the annual waste disposal that we.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, so you don't have a direct comparison as to per account, what would cost per account and the difference per account? This was a total of.
A total of all, yes.
We
Yeah.
need a total, and
Yeah.
I think what we can do is we can go by the cost on each account. As you can see on the
I mean, I guess, if we haven't done that adjustment, it sounds like we're repeating it. Because some of these adjustments are so huge, we're talking about the percent increase, it's not like a 20%, 10%, some are like several 100% more than what it was before,
I think we based it on 16%, Mayor.
on most of them.
Right.
And so, the reason, and I think the other folks kind of got on it, the reason I believe, and maybe the rest of the commission doesn't, I believe that if I'm going to approve something, and I think you're getting there, I think we're seeing, this is how much it costs us, and this is, this is how much we're gonna make, and this is how much it's costing, we're gonna be able to cover. I don't know when we look to allocate it that we're actually gonna be charging the ones that are taking up the most of the work, the appropriate amount as we are adjusting that fee based on the overall cost. That we're not going, for example, the people that bring in, and I'm going back to the regular resident, they were paying $20 or $25, whatever that was.
It's 18.
Something.
I think it's
No, I'm not talking
1875.
our garbage. I'm talking also disposal, because this is everything.
Right.
This is all of disposal. And they were being charged, what, $20? If I brought a truck and I wanted it to dispose of.
It varied, Mayor, it varies, and this is the reason why we're trying to come up
Right.
with a figure or a flat rate to
Right, but
charge the
it-
residents,
it's-
be
but
fair
it-
with
what was
everybody.
What's a typical? What's a typical?
About $25,
Right.
Mayor.
So we're gonna double it, right? So as we're looking at that, so that our regular folks who's saying, I've gotta dispose of my stuff outside of the regular schedules, I wanna go and clean my area and I wanna take it, that when they get up there and we're saying, well, you're gonna have to pay now $55, because we're gonna get the phone calls. And it's gonna be, why is it so much? And I like to be able to say, well, this is what happens.
Right now, what we're charging is just the construction rates, Mayor. We're not charging for, our residents are not being charged for that.
Okay, well. okay.
They're not being
Yeah,
charged
we've
for
had
the
that
brush and
conversation.
that, only construction. If they bring construction materials, we do charge that because our tipping fee is pretty steep over in
No,
Edinburgh.
I understand. And I think one of the things, when we talked about the truck, and when you mentioned about what we're looking at, and I'm thinking 55 is probably our typical folks doing some little work on their home. I can take my pickup in my home, or I can take his pickup, and it's very different. So him and I are gonna be charged
Right.
55, right?
Right. And see, the thing is very hard for, especially like in under construction materials, Mayor, we don't have a scale to weigh the material. So when we go to Edinburgh, I mean, we might lose out because we're charging very little and they're charging us quite a bit of money over in Edinburgh.
Any questions from the commission? Anything else you want to add?
No, Mayor. If you'd like to, I can come back and give you those figures that you need, and I'll work on those.
For
Maybe
my
s-
sake, I do want them. I
Okay.
think you're going to be ready to propose something. I just want to be able to
Right,
get a
sure.
hand.
And I understand
And
that.
what I'll
and-
do is
and,
I'll tell you the ones specifically that I want, and maybe you can just concentrate on those, and if you want to share them, you know, through the chief to the commission, for purposes once you get them, because we're not going to have a meeting till the time we get back for,
Right. They'll give you plenty
January.
of time to look into the figures and get what you need, Mayor.
okay.
I do like what you're doing, Mike, because, yeah, we want to be fair and we don't want to overpay. what
Exactly,
it's costing us, so.
What I'll do, Mayor, City Commission, what I'll do, I'll add another slide, and basically what I'll do is have the accounts allocated to dumpster size and come out to a cost unit based on the dumpster size.
I mean, I think that's how you
And
do it.
so, and I think we can add that slide for the next City Commission meeting to have a
Thank you.
better understanding of the cost.
Yep.
And I can understand it, Mayor, because sometimes, like, I'm there, and I'll say, well, you know, it's a 16-foot trailer, and I see you have debris, you know, especially like tiles and all that, it weighs a lot. I say, well, it's $50. And sometimes I'm not there, and our secretary comes out, and she'll charge them a little less, or, you know, based on her judgment, and that's where I think the issues are starting to come in. And that's the reason why I'm trying to find a flat rate or come up
Or
with
you
something
give
to.
a rate and she gives a
A different rate, and that's probably why you're getting calls, Mayor. And this is why I'm trying to get to the bottom of it and try to come up with a solution for it. And I'll keep working until we get it.
And then, Mr. Gomez, for the purposes of once these kind of fees are set, and I know that, you know, the folks are not going to come and pay at City Hall, or are they? You know, how do we keep financial control?
What we do is part of the billing, on the monthly bill. Well, what we do, whenever somebody applies or applies for a dumpster, they fill out a work order, and we deliver that dumpster to the location, so it's already added to the bill.
Okay.
It's a regular utility bill that we send out on a monthly basis.
Okay, but if I show up with my truck to dump stuff, what do I do? How are you going to control the money that comes in
Right.
there, so make sure that if I pay 55 gets turned over
We
to City
deposit
Hall?
it in there. We make a receipt, and we check the ID, the driver's license for the residents with our billing, and then we direct them on a daily basis to City Hall.
And also, to the directors, whenever there's a collection of money, there is a process that somebody has to take the money, and some other person records it in the system.
Okay,
And then once it's generated, they'll go ahead and submit that to the cashiers. So when the
so
cashiers.
we have an oversee, but then one person's not the one receiving and receiving?
Well, collecting, basically, there's two people collecting.
Okay.
The best is to have two people. One
Absolutely.
is give you the receipt, one's collect. And then, once you have the receipt, they take it to the cashiers with the funds, and then we attach the receipt that they received the collection of the money with the actual receipt that it gets processed once you take it to the cashier's office. So we have a matching document to the receipt, and that gets posted into the system.
It is deposited daily.
Make sure we got our checks on,
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's something that we try to do in trains, especially when it comes to collecting cash.
absolutely, absolutely,
Because of a liquidity factor.
yes, that's right. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Contractuals, consider adopting the interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of San Juan and North Alamo Water Supply Corporation. Mr. Gomez, is there a motion to remove from table?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. It's been removed. Mr. Gomez?
If I may,
Yes, sir.
I talked to Mr. Gomez, and the last time we were here, I asked that this item be tabled because there was certain language in here that I was not, that I didn't want the city to have in their
Correct.
contract.
Correct.
It's under dispute resolution, item number 11. Number 11. Now, I have spoken to the attorney for the North Water Alamo Corporation. We haven't been able to get the revised contract, but we came to an agreement. The issue I had was that they were asking for expert fees and expenses and court costs that were not allowed by 271-153 of the government code, in my opinion. That's in the current contract. So I asked them to remove that, and the compromise we came up with is that they'll be able to ask for reasonable and necessary attorney's fees, which are allowed by section 271-153, and any other costs that are allowed by that statute. And that way, if they want to fight it and come up with case law, then we can do that at that point. But that's how the compromise. So I'm asking that we approve this contract subject to legal review and with that in mind. That's the only thing.
There are any questions from the commission? If not, is there a motion as suggested by council?
So moved.
Okay, it was been moved by
Commissioner Suarez?
Commissioner Suarez, and second by Commissioner Ramirez. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Gomez.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
For clarification, Mr. Rodriguez was just pointing out to me, under public hearings, item B, there was no action?
That was not a public hearing.
Item B of 6, correct? Discussion on.
It's a discussion. It didn't say to hold a public hearing.
Okay, so,
There's no action. There was just a presentation, correct? We weren't supposed to take any action of any kind. All right. Item B, consider ratifying the San Juan Economic Development Corporation's projects and amended annual budget for fiscal year 2014-2015. Mr. Villarreal?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Rene Villarreal, San Juan Economic Development Corporation. We're here asking for the approval of our amended budget. The changes that we're asking for is for the, under our projects. We were grateful enough to attract the attention of a manufacturing company from Mexico looking to relocate. And this was a total team effort. We had a lot of help from our attorney, and Tirso was also very helpful, and our city inspector and our city planner have all been working together with us on this project. And the EDC board approved a bit of incentive for them. And that already went through public hearing process, and there was no opposition. And we've also added to the agenda, we itemized our promotional item so it can reflect the Noche de Paz budget. And that's pretty much it.
Does the, is this something that can be spoken in detail at this point?
Well, we codenamed the Project Tomahawk because the owner and the project manager don't wish to disclose it at this time. So this was all done in executive session.
Does everybody, member of this commission, know what that's about? You, I know you do because you sit on the.
We did mention that in the packet that you have, that the project has been endorsed by the state of Texas, Governor Rick Perry's office, and they're actually the ones who are the ones who advised us to make a code name, to give this project a code name, and
That's something we can go to executive session at this point to get some feedback on that, since we're going to approve their monies for that.
or 551-087, economic negotiations, we can do that.
I'd like
if
to
you're
do
more
that real
comfortable.
briefly.
Yes, Mayor, we can do that.
Okay, then, if you want to say that code again, and we'll go into a brief executive session.
Mayor, at this time, the Economic Development Corporation is asking that the commission go into executive session under Texas Local Government Code 551-087 to discuss economic negotiations between the EDC, the City of San Juan, and this, well, the EDC, I'm sorry, and this entity, Project Tomahawk.
Then we'll go into executive session at 8:01. And we'll take action now in open session. Are there any questions from the commission? If not, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion, any opposed? Motion passes. Consent agenda, A, approval of minutes, November the 24th, November 25th. Budget expenditure report. Consider second and final reading of the ordinance for rezoning Track 1 from single-family residential to general business district of 70 feet north, 300 feet of 1875-acre tract of land, all of Lot 6, Block 7, East 735 acres, 7.35, Lot 7, Block 7, John Klosner. Tract 2, single-family residential district to multifamily residential of the south 2,228 feet of 18.75-acre tract of land, being of Lot 6, Block 7, East 7.35 acres of Lot 7, Block 7, John Clauser subdivision, all located along the west side of main drain ditch between Olana and Eldora Avenues, requested by Dora Alicia Lara. Item D, consider second and final reading of the ordinances for the rezoning request. Track 1 from single-family residential to general district, business district for the west 1,249 feet of the north 5 acres of south 20 acres of north 3185 acres of Lot 16, Block 8, John Klosner subdivision, Track 2, single-family residential to general business, west 1,249 feet of the north 5 acres of the south 15 acres of the north 3185 acres of Lot 16, Block 8, John Klosner subdivision, all located at 2604 and 2702 North Raul Longoria Road, as requested by Stephen M. Agano. E, consider second and final reading of the ordinance for the rezoning request from single-family residential to general business district of west 165 feet of 2-acre tract of land out of the west 10 acres of the north 12 acres of Lot 4, Block 35, Alamo Road, Alamo Land Sugar Company subdivision located at 1307 Sergeant Leonel Trevino, as requested by Aristeo Guzman. F, consider second and final reading of ordinance for the special use permit for the sale and on-premise consumption of alcohol beverages at Tacos Kisi, located at 504 North Raul Longoria Road, legally described as Lot 3 Mesquite Acre subdivision, as requested by Oscar R. Kisi. Consider second and final reading to amend ordinance 10-02, an ordinance authorize certain types of supplemental compensation categories identifying subchapter C, Chapter 141 TLGC, and Chapter 143, providing criteria for eligibility thereon in the city's fire department. Is there any item that needs to be pulled? If not, I'd like to go ahead and tender to Mr. Rodriguez the corrections. On the minutes. If not, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
A motion passes. Under executive session, we're going to go back into executive session. Now, under Chapter 551, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirements that meeting be open, the Texas Government Code, 551.074, Personnel Matters in Texas Government Code, Section 5, I think it's just the first one, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer and employee, city manager position. I ask Ms. Cordero to please join us at 8:17. 8:31, under item of executive session, A, and to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, employee, city manager position. There'll be no action. Is there a motion to reconvene? Sorry, we already reconvened. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned at 8:32.